Bama's heading back to the SEC championship game. No other team in the conference in the history of the SEC has been there more, and no other team's won more of these conference championships. But they're going to have their work cut out for them, and we're going to talk to Mike Johnson about that, the Iron Bowl, Lane Kiffin, and more right here on the Bama Tailgate Show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's go. Hi, Roll Tide. There he is, Mike Johnson, fresh back from the floor, Bama. It was good to see you in person Friday, and Bama wins on Saturday. SEC championship game this Saturday. Pretty good.
I know that you were excited to see a quarterback on the other side of this camera, but here we are once again. you having to deal with me. No, man. Yeah, Friday was awesome, dude. That was really, really cool. Getting a chance to hang out with you, Ryan Anderson. Everybody else at the Bama. I had a lot of family out there. It was just really cool. Kids got to come and hang out and made a whole evening of it, dude. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun, man. That's a great way to break in a young family is the floor Bama, you know?
Yeah.
How old were you when you went there for the first time?
God, I don't even know, dude. It was young, but then like didn't go for a long time until college again. Like I'd say I probably went there when I was maybe not as young as my kids. I mean, my daughter's 3, but I don't know if I was that young. I can't remember. But yeah, I didn't end up going from like the age 10 or 12 to the time I got in college and came back with buddies and got real drunk. So
what's that? Yeah. Well, dude, it was great seeing you. And all of you guys that came to hang out with us. Thank you too, man. Crowd was awesome. It was such a good time, dude. Like I walked out of there feeling just so grateful that so many people came to watch, and even that Karen that asked Ryan if he was Big Papi.
I don't necessarily think she was a Karen. The guy that was the Karen was the one that asked us if we were doing bingo, and then asked Bingle if he was a punter.
Yeah, she was.
That
fine.
Was the Karen.
She was fine. It was just it was a great time, dude. Like,
it was, man. Good
stuff. The entire thing. So then Bama goes and they take care of business in the Iron Bowl. Not easy. Could have been not easy, but they did one thing really well, and that's not turn the ball over. And the other thing was, as bad as Ty Simpson was, he made just great passes in the red zone. Isaiah Horton caught 3 touchdowns, and Bama beats Auburn. And also Connor Talty kicked a couple field goals, man. Tip of the mug to our new Will Reichard. Dude,
how about that, huh? I mean, just craziness. It's genuine. It's genuinely nuts, man. That I'm with you. I kind of thought we would run away with it for a minute, and then they hit a couple of explosives, and I know that they had a couple of huge gainers, and that's really what got them back in it. Couple 63, 66 yarders or whatever it was to Simmons, and a couple of big plays, and they're back in it. And then all of a suddenly we couldn't run the ball, or we're not willing to run the ball when we needed to, and couldn't make the plays. So that one, that could have gotten bad in a hurry. I can't imagine where we'd be talking about today if things had slid the other direction on that 4th down call. I mean, it's crazy how much in your own mind kind of tilts with that one play. I mean, there's so many different things when you talk about not only that game, but this whole championship and the whole playoff and the Kalen DeBoer era and everything else just kind of hinges on that 4th down play. The size of his cojones, man, to go for that 4th down call when it didn't feel like anything else was really working in the passing game at times it's just nuts, man. Just crazy.
Well, but have you ever heard that expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's how I felt like Kalen DeBoer was coaching at that point. Talty had kicked 2 field goals at this point.
Yeah.
Hell no, he's not kicking 3.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm going for it all right now. He's perfect from the extra point range. Let's let him kick an extra point, Now, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get on Talty because he had a really good game, and I'm happy because he could have crawled under his desk and cried when we all booed him, you know what, man, the guy's manning up, team's rallying behind him. He made some big kicks. We don't win without him. And then that play is like, you go outside and you play in the backyard, you're not going to kick a field goal, right? You're going for it. And that's the way that Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have always coached, right? So they're going for it, and that's exactly what he did. They went for it and got it, and and it goes down in Iron Bowl history as another fourth quarter Auburn comeback. And I'm sorry, but Auburn Jesus is fading.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I don't want to get too much further. A lot's going to be made, Mick, about that fourth down play call, and rightfully so, man. Like I said, just unbelievable. When you talk about the design, the ability to kind of go in on it and make the throw, make the catch, everything else. But don't lose sight of the fact that was a 15-play, 8-minute drive.
Yes.
I mean, that is beautiful. I don't know how long the drive was. I'd have to look it up, how long the drive was when we scored to Roy Upchurch in 2009, but that's what it felt like. It was like third down to Julio, third down to Trent, third down to Julio, all the way down the field to where, you get in the range for a field goal, and then you're like, all right, like we could probably score a touchdown. And then we score a touchdown just kind of like that. I believe it was a third down call. So, yeah, man, it was excellent all the way around. And kudos to really, getting gritty right there at the end, forcing that fumble. I know Cam Coleman probably was never going to forget that moment, but I'm giving, hats off to Bray Hubbard and everybody else involved for making it happen.
Yeah. Well, it was a historic win, man. I mean, that's 6 straight against Auburn. Auburn's not a good team, but they're not as bad as people might want to make them out to be. I mean, they've lost a lot of these games by one possession. And I had Ryan Brown say on the postgame show, and for those of you that hung out with us on the Next Round platform after the game, this. He was like, look, it's like the NFL. It's a one possession game now. Who handles the one possession better? And that's where Kalen DeBoer, I think, has done a killer job, is that he's really good in the one possession games. Auburn hasn't been. There's been no stability, though. I mean, every other year they're firing somebody and hiring another coach. Bama's stability's helped them out, I think, a lot.
No, there's no doubt. And look, I loved after the game when Kalen DeBoer is getting emotional, talking to Ty Simpson, walks up on him and kind of gets choked up, gives him a little hug. I think that's such a unique insight into the relationship between Kalen DeBoer and some of the guys on this team. And, you go back to one season and we're kind of talking about what is Jalen Milroe and will we have bowl opt-outs and, how many transfers could we have? And you remember I said this a year ago. I said, Mick, we're getting ready to find out everything we need to know about Kalen DeBoer based on how many people transfer when this season is over.
You did.
I mean, and that's it. And how many people came back on defense? Ty Simpson comes back, commits to this program, all these other pieces in place, and they're able to add to what they really needed at some of the transfer spots, but didn't lose much. And that's why you are able to come back in situations, where Ty Simpson and this offensive line understands and everything else and make those plays on fourth down because you have guys that have been in the system. They know the scheme. They understand protections. They understand coverages. And you're able to develop them inside what you're trying to get done. So there's so many different things that go into it. And you're right. When you're at a place like Auburn and they've changed coaches and, fired this guy, fired that guy, and you're bringing in portal quarterbacks the way they have, the way both those guys this year have been for them, you're not always going to get that, and it's just the small, very small things that people don't think about. They just look out at the play and it's like, oh, quarterback made a throw. Wide receiver made a catch. There's so much more that goes into it for these programs to be able to make plays in moments like that. And you're right. There's a lot about Kalen DeBoer to like in that moment.
Yeah. I love it. So now you got another matchup against Georgia. And before we really get into that, let me remind you guys that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi, the Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. I know it's a little bit chilly out there right now, but I know the right thing to warm you up, and that is a great concert, and they've got you covered there as well on December 27th. You got the lead singer of Twisted Sister, Dee Snider. You got Firehouse. You got Lita Ford, who sung an amazing song with Ozzy, and she's a rocker. All those guys are going to be there at the center stage. That's at Silver Star, part of Pearl River Resort, December 27th, 8 o'clock, Choctaw, Mississippi. Great way to break up Christmas and New Year's. You want to get out of the house? It's a good way to do it. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. And then you go there, you watch the concert, and then go play a little bit. Table games and slots. They got the best slots. You can go down the Biloxi. You're not going to find better slots than that. I mean, you got to go all the way to Vegas to get the slots that between those two casinos with the walkway in between that you'll find better or as good, really. So find out for yourself. They got the sports book, all that stuff right there at Pearl River Resort. All right, so just kind of putting a bow on the Iron Bowl. I mean, we've kind of beat it into the ground at this point, 24-hour rule. We talked about it. I mean, I know it's a special one. It always is. But now you got to focus again on beating Georgia. Both teams are banged up. Both teams have been through the gauntlet. You want to play an NFL-style schedule, you're there. You don't have Cuevas at tight end. You're not going to have Jam Miller. Parker Brailsford was in and out, although I thought that Geno Vandermark did a nice job at center when they needed him to jump in to do that. The backs have to block better for Alabama, and you go back and watch, some of that pressure is coming on the fact that they're missing blocks or they're not doing a good job of holding.
Can we talk about this for a second? Because this has been really driving me crazy. All right. Our offense right now, and I got to try to educate people that don't understand this. Our offense right now is running what you would call a delayed rollout. It's a designed delayed rollout, all right? And a lot of people are not picking up on this. And what happens is when you're in kind of these blitz situations, you're running a slide protection, right? The offensive line is just saying, hey, I'm going to take the gap to my right, and we're all going to slide. And then the tight end, be it to the left a lot of times the other night or maybe to the right, the tight end on kind of the backside of that is knocking the defensive end towards the quarterback. So Ty Simpson's taking the snap. He's kind of posing like he's looking downfield, and then he knows that the defensive end is going to get crashed down towards him. So it's designed in the play. He's going to roll out towards his left. All right, and when people are watching this, I'm seeing it all over Twitter the other night during the game. When people are watching this, they're going, oh, man, we're blowing protections. Guys are just getting run through. They're flushing him out of the pocket. He's having to run for his life. It was part of the design the whole way. Like it's a lot of these things that happen with the tight ends and or the running backs. A lot of times it's designed the whole way. You can tell by the way Ty Simpson is kind of showing pass, and then he's automatically rolling out of the pocket and getting out and trying to make throws downfield. And it's really a good answer. It's kind of a unique design, but it's a good answer to when teams are going to be blitz heavy, that you can, secure the gaps across the front and you allow him to kind of get out and escape pressure. So I did see that a lot on socials today, and the offensive line's getting whooped. There's the tight ends are getting whooped in pass pro, whatever it may be. A lot of that, man, I would say at least 6 times in the first half did I see design delayed rollouts, which is it's kind of a unique, kind of a newer concept, but that's definitely what they were doing in the first half.
Right. Yeah, gotcha. And you would know anyway. I mean, you look at Parker Brailsford, when he's healthy, he's one of the best centers in the country. And Caden Proctor's done a nice job. I mean, nobody's perfect, but it just seemed like there was just constant pressure, and they were blitzing so much.
Yeah.
And Alabama's got to do a better job of developing those short plays, because that's what Georgia's probably going to do the same thing too. How do you go through the entire game and not get the ball to Ryan Williams? Hold that thought, guys. QR code right there. That's Mick Nation. Mike's a big fan of Mick Nation, and he should be. We got swag. We got some hats. We got swag. We got cash prizes. Mick Nation, be a part of it. Hit that QR code. It's our Avenue D home, Web 3.
Yeah. Mick Nation, baby. No, I mean, and don't get me wrong, going back to the delayed rollout, I'm not saying that our offensive line protected well. I just think that there was multiple times where Ty Simpson's flushing to his left on purpose as part of the play design. And you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, man, his tight end, he's not giving him a good pocket. He's not trying to give him a good pocket. He's trying to make it look like he's chip blocking or crack blocking on the end. But I am not alleviating the offensive line with some of the struggles they did have. I thought they did much better in the run game, which was awesome to see. Didn't expect that in the first half. It's been a while since we've seen them run the ball the way they did. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the first half against Florida State, the first drive against Florida State, where they just ran it down their throat. So it's in there, and that was nice to see. But you're right, the pass protection does have to be better on the hold. And I don't know what to make of the Ryan Williams thing. I know Kalen DeBoer's press conference yesterday talking about Georgia and talking about Ryan Williams. He was like, wasn't by design. And you look at his snap counts, he was out there a ton. But I do love the fact that they are not terribly worried about designing plays to go to Ryan Williams. We've seen it this year, right? We've seen the screens, the plays out wide or some of the other stuff that, almost gadget style plays where they've getting the ball to Ryan Williams. I kind of love that they're not that worried about doing it. I watch a team on Sundays over here with the Atlanta Falcons. It's like, got to design plays for Kyle Pitts. He's the 4th overall pick. Got to make sure we get the ball in his hands. And I'm looking at him going, dude, Kyle Pitts ain't that good. Don't break your neck trying to get Kyle Pitts the ball when I'd much rather get it to whatever receivers out there. So I like it, man. Let Ty Simpson go through his progressions and figure it out. And I'm sure that Ryan Williams will probably have a couple big plays in the SEC title game this weekend.
Yeah. Well, and here we are again. Bama versus Georgia, right? For the SEC championship game. Bama's won 9 out of 10. Georgia's been consistently the best team in the conference since Coach Saban retired, even kind of before that, except when they play Alabama. It's almost like a mental thing.
And please believe that Georgia, of course, man, I do the morning show over here in Atlanta. They are out for blood. And I mean blood. Like, they don't want to just beat Alabama. They want to beat Alabama so bad that Bama gets left out of the playoff. Like, I literally have heard that already twice this morning. It's like,
oh boy, don't
just beat Bama. Beat them so bad that you won't have to see them again the rest of the year. It's interesting because somebody brought up Kirby Smart's record in the SEC championship game. And I was like, is that real? Do you know what it is? Do you know what his record is in the SEC championship?
No.
3-7 or 3 of 7. He's won 3 of 7. So he's 3-4 in SEC. Like, think about how mind-boggling that is for a second. It's not just Bama. That goes back to LSU 2019. And I guess one more. So, I mean, it's crazy to think about. And of course, Bama's won like 9 straight SEC championship games they've been in, or 8 straight, whatever it is. It's crazy to think about. Georgia's also never beaten Alabama in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which, I mean, that's crazy in and of itself. But Georgia is going to play in Mercedes-Benz for the second time in a row. They just played Georgia Tech there last Friday when you and I were at the floor of Bama. So it's there's a lot of interesting parts of that entire matchup, and hopefully we can come out and put our best foot forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope so too, man. I mean, if I was Georgia fans, I would probably worry about just winning the game by 1. If you win by 1, like, if you win by 1, you won. Like to go out there and have this, we need to beat them so bad they don't make the play. How about just winning? Because you guys haven't done that.
Yeah.
And it's like we got to sit around and everybody be scared of Georgia. Man, Georgia doesn't scare anybody in Tuscaloosa. Nobody on Alabama's team scared of Georgia. They're just looking at them and respect them, know what the kind of football you're going to play. They're going to have to deal with our defense. And guess what? That hasn't been easy for anybody to do lately. If Bama doesn't have the guy get kicked out of the game for the targeting, you might not have some of those breaks. That kept Auburn in the game, like a couple of missed tackles and dudes running down the side of the sideline, but I mean, this is what you want. You want the 2 best teams, the 2 best programs. Now, I'm glad it's not Texas and Oklahoma because you know what? We've been here. It's what I want to see.
No, I'm with you on that. And, I think that, of course, we're Bama people, so we pay attention to Bama. And I think that in a lot of ways, people that pay close attention to Bama are almost harder on Bama than the national perspective. It's like we look at, national perspective looks like, it's like, oh man, 10-2 Bama, this, that, and the other. And we look at it and go, dude, didn't play well in the second half. Ty Simpson's been a little shaky for the last month. It really hasn't been great through the air. Missed that early
deep pass. Yeah, missing the deep balls.
Just those deep balls are brutal. Put a little more air under it. And I think you look at Georgia, and we're so far removed at this, from paying close attention to Georgia. That's like, oh, yep, they dealt with business. Dude, they won by 7 too. They looked abysmal in the passing game. I mean, in Georgia Tech's defense, the over-under that game was like 60 because Georgia Tech's defense has been so bad. Gunnar Stockton threw for 70 yards in that game, Mick. Like, Drew Bobo, the center, gets hurt at the end of the first half. They couldn't run the ball at all in the second half against Georgia Tech's defense. This is a Georgia Tech defense that gave up like 45 to NC State just like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup. I do think, I don't know if you've seen, I think Georgia's already come out and been favored by 1.5. I think that line will move towards Georgia. I think people are just playing the odds saying, dude, at some point, Georgia and Kirby Smart will get over the hump. But I think it's a really good matchup between two teams that aren't completely whole. But I don't know that you have a whole team in the country. I think that there's going to be, I think Ohio State struggled. I think Indiana's going to struggle this next weekend, and you'll see one of those two teams lose. And there's just, it's all about the grit and ability to get it done in crunch time. And boy, oh boy, Bama has shown a knack for getting it done in crunch time this year.
Well, I think that's where if I was an Ohio State guy, I'd be worried right now, because the fact that you haven't had to play really any tough games is going to come back to get you, because you get into these playoffs and you're going to have tight games. Well, I mean, that's just how it goes.
And I'll say this, and they get a tough rap because it's not like their schedule's been crazy tough, but Indiana reminds me a lot of Bama 2008, 2009, which is crazy to say because it's Indiana and we're Bama. Mm-hmm. But the way that they go about their business is very like, the years with like when in 08 where we go 12-0 in the regular season, and of course you lose the SEC title. I could see them having that exact same kind of structure, man, where they've got the Mendoza as the quarterback, and God knows he might win the Heisman Trophy, but they are just a tough football team on the front, dude. They are going to have good pad level, and they are going to roll you off the ball. Mm-hmm. And so that's They play a tough brand of football, and I don't know that they beat Ohio State, but I'll tell you this much. If I was Ohio State, I wouldn't want to play them twice, and wherever Bama lands or Georgia lands in this madness, I wouldn't want to match up with Indiana either. I think people are going to look at that and go, oh, it's Indiana. Not that well-rounded. They haven't played anybody. Dude, the eye test, they have passed the eye test for me this year. They are gritty, and boy, when you don't think they're going to get it done, they go get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. And it's crazy to see kind of how they are getting it done, like Indiana. And that kind of brings me to, kind of skipping past Bama. Well, let me say this just to kind of wrap up the Bama Georgia thing.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and play Shane.
In some places, football is a sport, and Alabama is a fine art. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for Daniel A. Moore's next Crimson Classic, the Crispy Screen, guys. What a name to commemorate the Fat Boys. This masterwork commemorates the screen pass to Caden Proctor that outsmarted Kirby and the Georgia defense. Proctor's catching bulldog dozing run set up Ty Simpson's 3-yard touchdown just before the half, which was a big score for us, guys. Visit DanielMooreArt.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of a special pre-publication pricing for the Crispy Screen. Go ahead, get into that. Go get you one of those Caden Proctor prints. I'm super excited to get mine in because he's living a dream of all the Fat Boys. And go look up that Crispy Screen and get you one, guys.
All right, there it is, Crispy Screen. And Bama used that last time as part of the attack against the Georgia Bulldogs. I wonder if they have some more tricks up their sleeve, although they didn't need a lot of tricks this last game. It was just run the football. The tricks were kind of what slowed them down. I mean, a lot of people not happy with that flea flicker when they're up 17. Like, just keep pounding these guys.
No, man, dude, that's such a catch-22. You know what I mean? Like, if that hits, you're like, oh, man, Bama's not relaxing. They're going to step on their throat.
Right.
But it doesn't hit, and it's like, oh, why'd you try that?
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you trying all the razzle-dazzle? You've been just fine. Which, I mean, you go back to the Crispy Screen. That play was in crunch time at a massive road game, and they just were like, hey, let's try this out. And it worked. And that's why you're getting a Daniel Moore for it. So, nah, man, it's yeah, I love it, man. I'm sure there'll be something up their sleeve this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So Bama, Georgia, part of Championship Saturday. Some of the other games, number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Indiana. The reason that those two schools are number 1 and number 2 is that they don't play a tough schedule. Like they haven't gone through a gauntlet like everybody in the SEC, like Georgia and Bama have gone through. They don't not the bruising schedule. But with that said, you know what? They are the two teams that are undefeated that are playing, and that's going to be the 8:00 game on Saturday. I'm pretty excited to see this one.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody asked me today, they were like, can you imagine what it must have felt like in years that the Big Ten gets left out of the national championship game? Like if you go with the BCS system and, like 2011 Bama against LSU, you go with the BCS system, you're getting Indiana and Ohio State in the national title game. You got to be just like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like there's no way that this is really a thing. But I'm with you. I think that's going to be obviously the matchup everybody will be paying attention to other than Bama, Georgia. It's the first number 1 versus number 2 championship game since 2009, since the one I played in. So that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of keep track of. And I'm just telling you, man, do not be shocked if Indiana wins this game. I think Ohio State might be better off for it if Indiana wins this game. I really do. Like there's Ohio State's not going to run the gauntlet here and win every single game. Indiana's good. You got too many other good teams. I'd almost, if I was an Ohio State fan, I'd rather take my lump in this one, lose a close game, and then, still maybe get like a 4 seed or a 3 seed and get a bye and head on from there. Because I think if Ohio State loses, they're not going to fall out of the top 4. So I don't know, man. I have a feeling like Indiana is going to be coming out for blood and ready to make a statement. And Ohio State's probably in a few more ways got their eyes on a bigger prize.
Yeah. And these championship games, I guess I should have asked you about this. I mean, could Bama be left out of the college football playoff if they lose this championship game? Is that a possibility?
When I look at last week's CFP rankings, I think it absolutely could be. But then I also cannot imagine that the committee wants to set a precedent of leaving out a conference runner-up that would have been in had they not played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to sit a Georgia fan down today. He's like, Georgia's locked in. No matter what happens, Georgia's locked into a bye. And I had to be like, no, that's absolutely not even close to being true. If Georgia goes out and loses to Bama, guess who's ranked in front of Georgia? Alabama.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there is in no world is Georgia locked into a bye. So they're kind of dealing with some of the same things on their side. It's like they're sitting there with a bye right now, and they might fall out of the top 4 and have to play 2 extra games compared to where you were just last week.
These conference championship games are trash. It's time to get rid of them. They got to go.
I think the ACC is going to end up being the one spearhead that, Mick, because I mean, what do you do if you're the ACC and Duke goes out and wins? They're only a 3.5-point dog to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Duke wins that game. The ACC champ ain't getting in. They're not putting Duke in. They'll slide Tulane and whoever else they have, James Madison and all those other scrub teams up, and maybe even sprinkle in Miami. And Duke's not getting in as an ACC champ. I'm just telling you, they're not going to rank Duke ahead of James Madison and Tulane if those two teams deal with business this weekend. So I don't know how they'll, and Tulane's going to be an underdog, I believe, to North Texas in their championship game. So I don't know how that all pans out, but I'm with you. I think that everybody looks at it and goes, why are we doing this? And it stinks, man, because you're old school like me. These championship games are supposed to mean the world.
Yeah, right.
Said it the other day. It's like this used to be everything. But the way things are, the way things have evolved, it's just, it feels like, it feels like we're headed the directions of extra innings in baseball, dude. You know what I mean? You start worrying about the health of the bullpen arms, and you're like, why are we playing 18 innings? Let's just put runner on second in this thing.
Yeah. Let's just use the softball rules. You mentioned the North Texas Tulane game. That's the American Athletic Conference Championship game. North Texas is 11-1. They have a really good chance to make the playoff. Tulane's 10-2, and it's a 2.5-point spread. That's a Friday night game. John Summerall, the Tulane coach, took the Florida job. I'm guessing they're going to let him coach, unlike Lane Kiffin.
They are. They already.
It's not like he just took a job with their arch rival. Florida's not their arch rival, which I'll get you to comment on that here in a second. But that you're right. Like that, the winner of that game has a good chance to get in.
Winner of that game's going to the playoff.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say it.
BYU and Texas Tech, they played. They're both 11-1. Texas Tech whooped them. Do both of these teams have a chance to get in?
No, only because I this sounds just absolutely crazy to say. I just don't know that either one of those teams will get ranked over James Madison. And James Madison's it blows my mind that we're even having this conversation. But James Madison's 11-1, albeit they've played like Old Dominion and Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern and Marshall and those teams. But I think that they get a lot of love on the national scene. And look, man, their lone loss this year, which is crazy that I'm talking about them getting in the playoff. Their lone loss is to Louisville. And they won every other game.
Shit out of they got Mark Stoops fired.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So Louisville and Brom and everything going over there. So I don't know, man. I don't see that happening. I think that either one of those, whichever team wins, is probably going to the college football playoff. And then I think after that, you got to figure out which team, if Duke wins the ACC, what James Madison does, and how it all kind of falls out. But is there a chance? Maybe, but I think it's very, very slim.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'm a big Duke fan now. I just want to see Duke. I want to see Duke.
You just want to watch it burn, man.
Just burn down the ACC. And I guess where we're at now, and let me tell you guys about this. I know the holidays are coming, and my man JK with Brown Shed Glass Studio made this for me. I'm getting nothing. This was a trade deal. Because I love this. This shit's so cool. Like I got one. He made one for an Alabama one. It's in my window there. This thing is so well made. The glass that he used to make this Steely is from the 60s and the 70s, man. He's just and so you're looking for something cool for the holidays. Numbers on the screen. Check him out. His email address. But he can make anything. He was telling me he makes a lot of these moonwinks. Like the old moonwinks hotel over there in Northport. This thing's super cool though. I'm gonna hang it on the door.
That's awesome, dude.
He's a big he's a professor at Alabama and he's a big fan of the show. But this thing's amazing. If you could just feel the quality when you pick this thing up and when you hang it, he told me when he gave me the first one, he's like, "You're gonna love this." Dude, I totally do. Like it just grabs the attention of the room. You go in the kitchen and you're looking right at it. So this will be on the studio door.
I love it.
And I know it's holiday season. It's like, hey, some guy's got everything, but he might not have one of these. All right, Lane Kiffin, who look, man, I'm critical on a lot of levels, okay? First off, LSU. I'm so sick and tired of LSU and their loudmouth fans when Nick Saban was at Alabama, like we stole your coach. And you're all crying and upset. Mike, you went through the rivalry. Everybody's mad at Saban. He went to the NFL and came back. It's not like he went from LSU to Alabama.
Right.
You're mad.
Spurrier. He went to South Carolina.
Right. Like, so you boo-hoo. Then, you got Kiffin, who in 2016, I'm sitting there with you at the football game, playoff game in Atlanta with Washington, watching this guy who has been a genius all year, coach like he'd never been on the sideline before. And guess what happened to him? He got fired.
Yeah, he got left.
He got left for the national championship game because he did not care about anything but himself.
Yeah.
Don't tell me when you hired him, Ole Miss, that you didn't know this was the guy you got. But to put this, which to me, Mike, is unbelievable, is that this guy, when we know that coaching is built on legacies, has a team that's going to the playoff, even though he doesn't think they can win it or he'd still be there, is willing to walk away. And he's going to get more money. LSU's got, he's going to get more money for NIL. Probably not a salary thing. But, man, I just can't believe this.
Yeah, it's genuinely insane. And I've tried all day, even on the radio this morning. I try not to ever go about questioning somebody's faith, the way they feel about whatever their faith is. But dude, the whole Marty Smith interview where he's like, prayed on it. I'm sitting there going, does anybody believe this guy with half the crap that's coming out of his mouth? Like, nobody believes you, dude, when you said you had this conversation, that conversation. I didn't believe him when he says he didn't give the coaches an ultimatum. I 100% believe he gave the coaches an
little
ultimatum.
righteous gemstones in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
a little James Baker. Remember him?
Yeah, man.
I love you. Brother love for wrestling.
It just, the whole thing was just awful. And you know what? And it was kind of I clap back a little bit, to tie all that in. You remember how much crap Saban got about saying, I'm not going to coach Alabama?
Yeah.
I was like, this is exactly why. That's exactly why he said that. Because if you don't, you end up in the situation that Lane Kiffin's in, right? Mm-hmm. Where all of a sudden Ole Miss is going, are you coaching LSU? Are you leaving? We want to know right now. I think Lane Kiffin handled this extremely poorly, but I'm not sure that I'm not even sure who else gets all the blame. I hate that LSU went about it the way they did, although I guess I don't blame them. You go get your guy. You don't worry about any else. I will say this. The SEC probably should have stepped in, and I don't know the measures, but if I'm the commissioner of the SEC, I'm probably calling Jimmy Sexton and being like, yo, hey, man, like, we need to talk about this because I can't have this happening, on my watch and having all these things happening. And it's a bad look. So I don't know that Greg Sankey would have been able to do anything, but Mike Slive would have been the kind of guy that would have been like, yo, I'm calling somebody to make sure somebody knows that I'm absolutely pissed off about this situation. And again,
great point.
I don't know. It's a bad look all the way around. I don't know if Ole Miss is considered one of the bell cow institutions in the SEC. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I have to believe if this was an Alabama or a Georgia or one of those other, top 5 programs like a Texas, that somebody would have stepped in and done something here. Maybe it's just like, well, it's Ole Miss, it's LSU. It is what it is. But it's just a bad look, man. I just thought it was just such a black eye for college football and the way the business is done, just all the way around. And we've had enough of those over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a disaster right now. And they just watch this whole thing. He should have. It's first off, you're going to Ole Miss's arch rival. They're never going to let you sit there, especially him of all people. And coach the team, and then you're going to our arch rival afterwards.
Yeah.
That ain't happening, dude. Like, come on. If he was going to the NFL or something, I think they'd have been fine with it. If he was going to, like Michigan or somewhere like that, it would have been easier. You're going to their arch rival.
Did you see
come on, Lane.
Did you see, this is not, I don't know if this is credible source or whatever, but
tell me when you're praying that God didn't tell you that? Hey, man, use a little common sense here.
Can you imagine that prayer and that feedback? You know what, man? Leave those kids. What should I do, God? Hey, leave those kids, man.
God. Make sure you make all your assistant coaches go with you. If they stay,
what am I supposed to do here? Head to Baton Rouge. Head to Baton Rouge. Head to Baton Rouge, Joey.
Hey, and then the worst part, Mike, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the worst part for Ole Miss, you guys just hired Pete Golding as your head coach.
You had no choice. First of all, you had no choice. You had no choice.
Judge, you could have gone with Judge. I don't know.
The fact that you think that's better.
I don't know.
The fact that you think that's better, and I like Joe. Look, Joe was on staff at Alabama when I was there. Like Joe just fine. But Joe was special. But Joe Judge was a special teams analyst when I was at Alabama, okay? He was the kicking analyst. The fact that he got to where he was with the Giants is mind-blowing in and of itself. So I think they had to hire Pete Golding. There was no two ways about this. If you don't hire Pete Golding, first of all, you're probably going to lose your defensive staff and Pete Golding anyways if you don't hire Pete Golding. But the whole freaking staff and all the players are walking down to Baton Rouge immediately anyways. You had no choice. Like, this is just straight up, like, had to hold together intact what I could for the playoffs, if nothing else.
That feels a lot like Zach Arnett. This feels a lot like
Zach Arnett wasn't going to the playoffs, though. I mean, come on, dude.
But when Mike Leach left and they hired Arnett, you knew It was going to be. It's going to be terrible. It just wasn't going to work, and it didn't.
I talked to so many people in high school football circles. He might have been the most hated SEC head coach of all time when it came to recruiting. Yeah. High school head coaches hated that guy. Hated
like Brian Harsin. Harsin type hate.
I'll say this. This is what I was going to bring up a minute ago. Did you see the tweet that was going around? It was, sources or whatever, that at one point Golding makes the comment that he was sitting in Lane's office with Lane on Saturday watching the Iron Bowl. And he goes, "You know what, man? You're sitting in my chair." And now, me knowing like how those guys probably are, it was probably a joke in the moment. But I think that is freaking hilarious if that actually happened. That he was like, "Dude, I don't know why we're sitting here. I don't know why you're still sitting there. You're sitting in my chair, dude. You're gonna have to go. Like everybody knows you're leaving. Yeah. It's over. Like, it's been fun, but this is my office now. You got to go."
Yeah, get lost. For my 4-win season that I'm going to have, and probably need you to hire me back here in a couple years. Pete Golding. Awful. Everything for Ole Miss is awful.
Dude,
Pete Golding's not making a run in the postseason. You're one and done. You might as well forget about it. And
they weren't going to make the run otherwise. Like, what else are you supposed to do in that situation? If you don't hire Pete Golding, then God knows who's part of it, and you're dealing with an interim staff and all the other stuff. So I don't know.
So crazy to go from Lane Kiffin to Pete Golding.
I did hear that Kane Womack's name had come up in that discussion. So that would have been interesting. His dad used to be the D coordinator over there at Ole Miss.
Yeah. That would have been great. So we don't have to worry about him going there until maybe next year when they fire Pete Golding. It's
give it a year.
It's just so funny. And I know that Lane Kiffin's going to win at LSU until something goes wrong, and the end of that's going to be
he's going to win off the field.
It's going to be so good to watch.
He will be fired for off the field reasons. Go ahead and mark my words. He will win games on the field, and he will. I don't know that he'll Bobby Petrino this thing. But something's going to come about where it's like, it's the whole Ed Orgeron thing where he hit on some booster's wife at a gas station. It's just something like that's bound to happen in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, until and it'll be like when people feel like the program's going like this a little bit. It'll be funny until you're not winning every game, and it's going to be tough to do that. But you know what? Good for him. I'm not hating on the guy. I just think it's hilarious, like the way that the whole thing's gone down.
He's $100 million richer today, probably. So joke's on us.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we're brought to you by Bod Coach. I've been working through the Bod Coach. Sends me workout routines every single day. I'm about to get a gym membership, and I'm excited because I got Bod Coach in my corner to tell me what to do, like what workouts to run and all of that stuff. But it's amazing. It's you need to just check it out, guys. bod.coach/Bama, and sign up using our link. Check it out. It's not that expensive, but you're at home, you want to work out, it'll give you one. You're on the road, you tell them what equipment you got, that'll give you a workout for it. It's like having your own personal trainer in your pocket. All right, Mike, last thing before we get out of here. It's time to have a little fun with Kalshi. Kalshi was on the money. I mean, you know what? People knew that the chances are Lane Kiffin was going to be the LSU coach, but for a long time it looked like he was going to be the Florida coach, because for a long time he was going to be the Florida coach until LSU came in and outbid Florida and won there. I'm going to ask you one football question, and then I'm going to ask you a couple, just, how I do it. I'm just going to throw some stuff at you on Kalshi just to see what you think. But use our promo code Bama Tailgate, $10 when you sign up with the code and trade $100. All right. Kalen DeBoer, is there any chance that he's going to Penn State?
No, it's absolutely zero chance he's going to Penn State. I've said this all along, and I don't even pretend to know who Kalen DeBoer's agent is, but why not strike up a little conversation on the message boards and see if you can leverage a new contract or a bump for a guy that just went 10-2 in the second year in the SEC. I mean, might as well, right? This guy is he's been an unbelievable home run hire. And I think it's safe to say that this is the era of the Sabans is just over. It just is. But DeBoer has been everything you could have wished. So no, he's not going anywhere. I don't. Why in the world would you go to Penn State right now?
Yep. So Talty is right now the favorite on the Kalshi board at 32%. Dayball, 21%. Bob Chesney's down to 13%. Lincoln Riley, the fourth guy on this list.
He wants out, dude. I've heard from
9%.
a couple people he wants out.
Yep. That'd be a good jump for him. Much easier living in Happy Valley than in LA and the climate that's going on there right now, as far as people that have money. They tax the shit out of you. Kalen DeBoer's on this list. You know who else is on this list? Which is surprising is Josh Heupel. You know, Tennessee fans, after that whooping that Vandy put on them, there's a kind of a groundswell of Tennessee fans that think that he looks sloppy and that the team plays sloppy because he looks sloppy. I'm not making that up. That's the groundswell. The guy's actually done a pretty good job there, I think.
Well, you know, Auburn just hired Heupel Jr., Alex Galesh. I mean, he runs the exact same offense. They run all the same thing. God knows Bama fans have seen it over the last couple of years, and he's done a nice job down there. There's no doubt. But I mean, I think there's still, you know, the Penn State domino still has to fall, but let's not forget that Kentucky needs a new coach now too. Like that's a whole different thing to talk about. And I would hire Mark Stoops so fast if I needed a head coach right now. He doesn't have the name that can be associated with Penn State, but go back to that list. You were just looking at. I mean, I would hire Brian Hartline. Like that to me would be a home run hire for Penn State to hire Brian Hartline. That would be a good get for them. So I don't know. I would say that he's got to land a job somewhere at some point. But he's a good coach. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, let's so I'm thinking that DeBoer's pretty happy, even though maybe his family's still getting used to Tuscaloosa, you know, and who knows? I mean, it's a tough transition. Anybody that replaced Nick Saban was going to have a tough go of it, right? Yeah. So we knew that coming in. All right. Will Trump release any of the Epstein files?
Trump will not. No. I know that there's been a shift in that. You would know better than me, but it doesn't feel like it. I can tell you that.
The majority of people say before 2026, yes. Before 2025, yes. So people feel like that the Epstein files. I don't honestly. It isn't something that I've been following a whole lot. I know that there's some people that are pretty passionate about it, which kind of made it interesting to me. But you know, every time I hear stuff like this, I just wonder, you know, how much of it's political and how much of it is, you know, like we're kind of like to that point now where we don't really know what's real and what's not real anymore. You know,
it's crazy, man.
You know,
whole
like,
thing's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, so. All right, let's find one more good one here. I'll let you pick, Mike. You want politics, sports, culture, crypto, climate, economics, mentions, companies, financials, tech and science, health, or world? It's like you're on Jeopardy right now.
Let's go with world.
Okay, world. All right.
World for 1,000, Alex.
Let's do it. Find something good here.
I don't know. World's probably not easy.
Here we go. I got a good one. Okay. Will Trump nationalize SpaceX?
Nationalize SpaceX? Like make them part of Space Force?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. I wouldn't rule that out. Some privatization of that whole ordeal. I don't know. God, who knows, dude?
Only $12,000 have been exchanged on this. That Lane Kiffin stuff was over $1 million, by the way.
Was it really?
It was $2 million. Yeah, people were pretty fired up. Before January 2026, 99% of the people say no. Before July 26, 97% say no. Before January 27, 95% say no. So people don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, that's a long shot. No doubt.
I don't think so either. I think, look, they had NASA. They didn't want, they decided that it wasn't worth it anymore. They got rid of it. They let it become like private. I theorize it's because they know that the way that you travel in space is a lot different than the way that we were doing it. I know it's a topic for another show, but the way that you do it, according to Bob Lazar, who is a guy that used to work for the government and is a whistleblower, is that you bend gravity with a nuclear style element 115. So if we're not doing that, right, I know you're laughing. One day you're going to realize that I'm right. Then why are we even having it? And I think that's why they got rid of NASA. So I don't know. I'm also one of these guys, Mike, and let me see if they have this on here because I'm just curious.
I'm going to get this guy some tinfoil.
Come on. I wonder if they have if now there's no way. I was going to see if they were going to have a market for the people like me that don't think we got to the moon.
Jeez.
I used to ride around in a 1969 car. There is no way that if that was the car technology, even if it was 20 years advanced in the government, that we had any craft that was going to be able to go there and come back. And how are we getting like, live transmissions and stuff? I mean, we can't do that.
I have a hard time believing it too, man. Like I just, I'm picturing the guy with the graph paper with the, yeah. It is crazy.
Like people would be like, that was made in a studio. And I would always be like thinking in my mind, like, no.
But I'll say this, and this is what I always go to political conspiracy theories. I don't believe in people enough to think that somebody's keeping that secret for this long.
Well, that's why when you used to, you kept it or, but people started to kind of leak it.
You're afraid to say it out loud because you don't know who's listening. You know?
Yeah. Well, the other part of it too is this, man, is that we know now that it would take like 9 fuel ups of that rocket fuel to get there and back, and then there's a radiation belt you got to get through, and we can't even do it today.
Just stop. You need to. You need to stay away from the old Grateful Dead concerts, okay?
Hey, is this a good time for all of you guys to again remember that we're brought to you by the Brown Shed?
Jesus,
man, I'm so sorry, but we've gone this direction. But I'm not going to get to talk to this guy until next Monday. So anyway, I had a great time with you on Friday recording.
Yeah, man, enjoyed it. That was good stuff. Hopefully, we're talking about a dub next Monday.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. Or the college football playoff, one way or the other. Mike, tell everybody how they can follow you.
Yeah, man, I'm on Twitter at mpjohnson79. You can catch me on Instagram with the same handle. Always some craziness going on over here in the city of Atlanta, and I'm holding the Block A and the Script A up high this week, man. So you guys follow along. It's good stuff.
All right, are you going to the game?
Dude, that's a tough thing. So I have a 3-year-old daughter, as you know. She was at the Bama. She has her very first dance recital on Saturday at 2:00.
Oh,
daddy duty calls, man. So okay. I'm juiced about that. The big unit, Bama, Becky, they'll all be in town. So we'll watch it at the house.
It was great seeing your family. The highlight of the show, besides Ryan Anderson being confused for Big Papi, was when I asked you about the time that your mom went to meet with Nick Saban, and she was sitting right there.
Cut her eyes over there, didn't she?
Your double take was worth the whole 2 hours.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I saw her start to smile when I said Coker's mom met with Timbo. Like these moms, they just know. Okay, they just know.
You're lucky she didn't take the headset away from you and tell the story herself.
I would have loved it. Hey, come on. We had an extra headset for it. All right, roll tide, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.